here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello?
Hello, world. Welcome aboard, all you ground troops spinning around smartly on the planet today. We're excited to be here and be alive and well on planet Earth, and we've been watching all the people around the world gravitate and navigate, and we're here in America. For those of you listening out of country, we know you are out there. We see you on the board, so thank you very much for listening in, because without our listening audience, we probably wouldn't do this. No, we probably would, because we like to archive too. So today isn't only about a live radio show for everybody on iTunes and Spreaker and Stitcher and Spotify and Blueberry and all those places that we do for iHeart, our main company, but we're doing this for American Communications Online and TJ CT Radio and our group called Ace Folk Life today. So today we have our president of our club, Richard T. Knight of Georgia, and he and I have found somebody that we think you're going to like today. His name is Benny Pellom of Georgia, and he's got a lot to talk about because he has served 84 years alive and well, and he is still cognizant, conscious, and we're really proud of him to be an American, and we're very proud that he is a Navy veteran, and we're very proud of him for being one who has been a spiritual path with us, so we're hopefully going to bring him back on Sunday to discuss the rest of his show. But without further ado, let me get, first of all, my co-host, the president of our company, honorary president, Richard T. Knight. Richard, hi. Would you like to introduce yourself for today's listening audience?
Hello, TJ, or Teresa, or both, or whatever.
Here you are today.
Yeah, whoever we are
what
today, almost.
What do you have on? Slytherin, which group are you in? Okay. Yeah, it feels like that. So how are you? Today we're doing Ace Folk Life, and we're interviewing a gentleman in Georgia where you are from, and you are the Ace Folk Life president. So this is the first day you're stepping up to be the actual ACO president and bringing on somebody in your own state, Benny Pellom. But you want to tell people a little bit just about your background there in Georgia, but I know you were born in California, but just real quick so Benny's guest and our people will know, because you're now the honorary president as of 2021. So tell just a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm a metaphysician, a theologian, an ordained minister, an ordained bishop. I was a licensed investigator for 40 years in 16 states. I've been federal service with the Army. I've done federal service with the Department of Justice as inspector, and I've also done state service with Georgia with the Juvenile Probation Department for 6 years. So there's a little bit about me. I mean, I'm very open-minded. I have studied metaphysics for over 50 years, probably at least, and I'm very sensitive. I believe in all things spiritual, all things paranormal, all things UFO, all things extraterrestrial, and all that kind of stuff. So that gives you a very, very wide parameter of exactly who I am. I wear many hats.
Many hats. You do, and you've been helping me with some radio shows since February of this year, I know of, and he has 8 years' experience with Blog Talk Radio. And as your host, I'm TJ Morris, as says on my brand, but my name is Teresa Jeanette Thurmond, and I am an agent, publisher, writer, and a radio host and broadcast media person of 9 years. But I've been in television, I guess, since I was age 3 for KNOE TV, and I've been working all over, in and out of country, but I loved my 50 years with the government from May 67 till May 2017, but I am now retired, and this is what I do now, is I help different associations and groups of people, including our UFO Association on the weekend, but today is Thursday. We're going to have our veterans back intact with Ace Folklife and Benny Pellom today. And we're going to mix and match some of our topics for Ace Folklife history, how we're going to tell a story like we've been doing for years. I got started back in the hills of Kentucky, Bill Monroe Foundation. I'm also a member of BMI, Broadcast Music Incorporated, out of Nashville and New York, and we're broadcasting out of New York. But Benny, Pellom, and Richard are in Georgia. So let me bring on Benny Pellom. Benny, I know I apologize for not being here earlier for a sound check. So I understand from earlier you were speaking with Richard. How do you feel about coming on without your sound check? Are you okay?
I hope you can hear me okay.
A little low. Yeah, you'll have to use your radio voice today. Get you some water. Make sure you're right there.
Okay, you can hear better. Yeah. I'm happy to be with you and your audience and with Richard. I just thank you for having me on today.
Well, Benny Pellom, 84 years old, of Dalton, Georgia. Is that it?
That's
where
it.
you live now?
I'm in the outskirts of Dalton, right?
Outskirts of Dalton, Georgia, Dalton. All right, Benny, 84, is that correct? Give us the day you were born, where you were born, and give us a little history of, you're American, right? Before you were a veteran, you were born a baby to somebody in the hills of, not Kentucky, but are you from Georgia? Are you native born? I never asked.
No, I was born in Cisco, Georgia. That's in Murray County, Georgia, north of Chatsworth, Georgia, in April the 11th, 1937. And that was a very good year. It was a vintage year.
Well, tell us what you know about it and why, I guess you're an American being born in Georgia, although they may be seceded from the Union. I don't know. Maybe Texas will, for all we hear these days. But give us an idea of what you think Georgia was about based on your lifestyle and before you became a veteran at 18 or 20. But let us know what it was like. Did you grow on a farm? Or you sent me and Richard something, so I'm going to pull it up here. But that's real detailed information. Just start. Richard and I can ask you questions if you need prompting. But
you can
just get started.
Absolutely. I was raised in the country about 3 miles northeast of Chatsworth, Georgia, and we were in a very poor setting, and everyone was in those days. My dad worked at the talc mine. We lived pretty close to Fort Mountain, where the talc mine was on Fort Mountain. And 2 of my brothers also worked there. And later, my dad worked in the talc mill in Chatsworth, Georgia, which was a major employer at the time. and talcum, as you know, goes into car tires and to make up for the ladies and all of that. So it's a pretty good industry. Yeah. It was. I'm sorry.
Is it talcum powder? Is that what we're talking about?
That's the source of it. It is, yes.
Oh, it's the source of talcum.
Yeah, that's where they get it at. It's made from talc, TALC. And later, my dad worked at the Lockheed. Before that, the Bell Bomber plant in Maryland, and then later on down in Lockheed in Marietta. And he had a heart condition, and he finally retired out of that. But as a boy, you saw the part where I was kind of like a runaway kid, and working at the skating rink and hanging out in Chatsworth and whatnot. And I just came up very poor back there. And in a little bit later, when I got just a little older, I raised a cotton crop in east of Chatsworth there with a one-horse plow. And later on, in another county, I raised another cotton crop when I was very young with another horse and another plow down there. So you might say I had good exercise. Pardon me?
What year were you horsing and plowing?
Oh, this was maybe 1949, along in there.
Wow, I wasn't even born yet.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Born in 51.
And 51.
Wow.
We moved from there to Woodstock, Georgia, which is northeast, I guess, of Marietta, where Dad worked. And that's how come I made another crop down there with another horse. And when I went in the Navy, with all that walking and whatnot, I didn't have any trouble marching because I was well exercised.
So you didn't have to have an education since you were a plowboy. They made a movie about Gomer Pyle was a plowboy, wasn't he? Gomer Pyle. Did you ever watch Gomer USMC?
I know Eddie Arnold. Used to bill him as the Tennessee plowboy. And
Tennessee plowboy.
Yeah.
So you're a
my
Georgia
education,
plowboy.
As far as the education goes, Teresa, we went to a one-room schoolhouse in the country, and the older boys, in the wintertime would have to go out in the woods and cut what we call kindling, and the heart of rotten pines and whatnot that could be ignited pretty well. And we'd walk to school, and we had a heater inside the schoolhouse that burned coal. And so we'd have to start the fire and then have the room warm when the teacher and the other students got there. Things have changed a little bit now from that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those in Kentucky, one-room schools and church up in the hills up there where I told you Bill Monroe lived. So I saw them, but I didn't have to go into, I went into some because my husband's family still taught at some of those old churches up there in the hills of Kentucky. But so did you have a potbelly stove, or what did you put the fire in?
It was a coal burning heater with the real thin, flimsy like pipe that ran up and then on out of the building. We also had outdoor toilets in those days.
Remember those? We had those all the way up to Bill Monroe Land up there in the 2005. They still had outdoor plumbing, but not at the Rosine General Store, next door at the barn. Yeah. So, oh, my God. Well, Benny, I don't know. I've never had anybody talk about all this stuff, but I know about it, so I'm glad you came on. So you're back before the, what do they call that, when all the money in the banks? Help me out, Richard. What's that called? He was alive.
The Great Depression.
So you lived through that?
Yeah, I was on the north side of the Great Depression. I believe that was Roosevelt that took us off the gold standard